You're listening to America'sWebRadio.com, the pioneer and leader in chat radio. Thank you for listening.
Okay, everybody, good morning. So we're going to continue to talk about meditation. Meditation has a lot of components, The number one is probably the breathing. Different culture, different people have different kind of infused, different method of breath. Some from slow to slower, others from explosive to slow to natural. Some others use different variations of breath to instigate that body and the mind, to make that adjustment, to learn about your own body, the relaxation, the tense, observation of inner being, to see how your body responds, how your body responds to different variations, to understand yourself psychologically, to understand yourself physiologically, understand your own frequency, to innerly observe very, very calmly and silently. So most people probably don't have time to do that, because most people would rush to do this, to do that, and with the superficial things that really I call rat race, has no significance in life. Without health, without that well-being, without body-mind interaction, without body-mind communication, there's no life, period. Because nobody wants to live like a zombie or live in misery, live in suffering. But what they do, everything we do is about the suffering. Why? We have anger, we have emotions, we have, these gloomy days, we have these negativities, we have the desires, we have the greed, we have these all kinds of crazy things going on to destroy ourselves. Well, meditation is to learn to peel off all this. One of the Zen masters has told me that learn about yourself, about the universe. That's knowledge. That knowledge is consistently, persistently accumulating. But at the same time, you have to learn how to peel off, how to simplify, how to purify, how to get rid of. Get rid of more important than really increase knowledge. Why? That's wisdom. Because the more you do, the more you accumulate it, and a lot of garbage over there. A lot of times, it is maybe useful at this time, but it's not useful in other times. A lot of things may be just very material for that moment. It's gone. And you're moving forward, but you still link your mind, cling yourself to the past emotions, to past events, to past stigmas, to past memories. And the emotions go along with the memories. So what meditation does is to calm yourself down, to relax. Everything start from the simple breath. Okay, let's do a little bit breathing. Let's do a little bit just kind of meditative state of mind with that motion of the mind, transmission, and then the motion of the body. I'm going to move a little bit with you later. All right, let's start. Take a deep breath. See with your mind's eye. Listen to your breath. Feel your breath. Breathe in. Just see with your mind eye. Your breath comes in through your nose to your chest, all the way. Penetrate through the diaphragm to the lower dantian. We call temper or temple of energy. Breathe in and out. See with your mind's eye. You breathe into your lower abdomen. Let the energy penetrate into your spinal cord and the cervical cord, all the way to the pituitary gland and hypothalamus, and all the way to your pineal gland, the base of your scalp. See your route of the breath is like through the nose to your chest, to your lower abdomen, through the diaphragm of the lungs, feel the qi, the energy penetrate through the sacrum, the Mingmen behind the base of your spinal cord, behind the dantian, all the way to penetrate into a spinal cord, into the base, between your scalp and your cervical cord. Breathe and feel. Breathe deeply. Breathe out. Okay, now, one of the most important things about the breathing is when you regulate the breathing, you begin to get a little bit more silent, get a little bit more serene, get a little bit more deep into the deeper state of the mind. When you are in that state, your intuitive mind begin to open. Your energy begin to flow in a coherent way with the nature. That means when you connected with nature, when you connected with the conscious matrix of the cosmos, when you connected with the Supreme Mind, you are in the flow. You are in the flow. You forget yourself because you are not separate yourself from the nature. You are not separate yourself from the divine. You are not separate yourself from the cosmic consciousness anymore. You are integrated. So the breathing is the beginning of everything. Of course, the breathing with the proper position, with the proper mindset, but everything starts from that first awareness of your breath. Because everybody breathes. Remember, when you are not aware of breath, you hardly breathe anything in, hardly have enough oxygen, hardly have enough energy supply to your body and to your brain, to your cells for that simple work. That's vital. Because when you do not have enough oxygen, you get tired very easily. You don't have a good circulation. You don't have a good supply of the oxygen to your cells. The cells will die. You don't have enough energy to do anything. You always feel tired. You always feel exhausted. And then you have hundreds of other cells, and then they die. And thousands of millions of billions of cells become garbage cells. And then they mutate. And then some of the cells become cancer cells, others becomes rotten in the body, but it cannot get out because you do not have enough oxygen, you do not have enough energy, you do not have that purification system to process, to get the garbage out. Think about it. Your house, your house, let's say, 2,000, 5,000 square feet. But you accumulated a lot of garbage every single day. You never cleaned for 2 months or 3 months or 4, 5 months. You tell me how many times you clean your body with oxygen. How many times you clean your mind with the breathing, with the meditation. Tell me, the average people. Tell me, how many people clean that every day? People brush teeth every day. Why they don't clean the body every day? They just rush here, rush there, rush there. They never cleaned. Never purify anything. Okay, you take a shower every day, but do you take a shower inside? Do you take a shower every week at least? Not many people do that. So that accumulation of these toxins, that accumulation of this garbage, that accumulation of this virus, these cancer cells, they stay there. They can become mutation. Get bigger, just like your house, your garbage. Your garbage is there. You say, well, I have a lot of roaches. I have a lot of, mosquitoes. I have a lot of flies because of the garbage. But you do not clean the garbage. You say, well, garbage is there. I'm going to kill these flies. I'm going to kill these mosquitoes. I'm going to kill these roaches. But the garbage is there. Okay, please, garbage just stay there. That's precisely. You don't say that way, but you do. Precisely that way. People treat cancer. They treat the flies. That's what it is. They treat the mosquitoes. They treat these roaches. but the garbage is still there because they never treat that root of the flies, of the roaches. So that's what the medical system also is doing, because they all do symptoms. They all do symptoms. We call healthcare system. Is it really healthcare system? You go to the bottom, you see. Can you just simple language? Health, care. You care about health. Do you really care about the health of this medical system? No, you don't. You care about disease. The disease care system, that's precisely what it is. People have disease, you care. People have illness, you care. People have terminal illness, you care. Or you only care about disease. So you have more disease come in so that you can make money. The whole system is totally rotten, totally crooked. You make money on it. Your mind is on it. The doctor is on it. The books, all the books talk about it, how to treat a disease. None of them really tell you what is the health, how to care about the health. That's reality. Just like I said a long time ago, to you guys, 75 doctors, had a meeting with me, and I'll give a speech, from Harvard, from George Washington University, and then from John Hopkins, from a couple of universities. There's doctors, 76 of them. Only one person know how to do the breath, because he did a transcendental meditation called TM. The rest of others, 70-some doctors, none of them know how to breathe. The most basic things of the healthcare, none of them know anything. And a couple of doctors go out because my speech is pretty long. And then they have to go out for smoke for me to come back. Isn't that I feel so sad. And then I had to tell these doctors, they feel embarrassed. But when I pointed these people, however, I didn't really mean to embarrass people. I just feel I'm compelled to tell these doctors, you try to treat people. You don't even know the basic health. It's sad. That's where the trend goes. And it's time to wake up. It's time to go. That's why I'm talking today about the breathing, the most fundamental things about human survival. Not only just live, not thrive yet. You breathe, you meditate, you really get your body and mind together, then you can thrive. You have the vitality. Because you don't have the basic energy, how can you thrive? How can you live well? How can you live as a human being with body and mind, coherence, with beautiful health you can enjoy? I said a long time ago, 20 years ago, I told my students, life is to experience the joy. I always believe that. Because I have firm belief life is to have that experience of joy. If you do not enjoy life, you do not enjoy every moment, what is the point of living? You want to live in suffering? You want to live in pain? You want to live in misery? A lot of people do that because they feel that's the norm. There's another norm. The norm is joy. The norm is happiness. The norm is to enjoy every minute, every millisecond of it. Let's start from what? A good start from breath. Just breathe with awareness. Just breathe with the different patterns. Just be aware. That's all. I'm not going to tell you you have to do this way, you have to do the other way. I can tell you hundreds of kinds of breathing methods. But what is fit you? What can give you enough oxygen? What can give you some calmness? What can give you some moderation of your body, mind, in communication, in organization? What can give you some healing? What can give you some space, some emptiness? So empty the garbage, empty the turmoil, empty the emotions that really detrimental to your health, to your well-being. So that's what I'm talking about. So actually, I'm starting a program, and recently I work with London Real. London Real has like millions of followers. They do podcast, and his name is Brian Rose. He's actually graduate from the MIT, from California, but he lives in London and England, and he studies kind of London Real. He was drug addicts guy, and he was a drunk guy. He tried to get out of that life, so he studied meditation, he started breathing, he studied all these things I promoted for decades and decades. He studied from different teachers. He became an interviewer, and he really renovated himself. And it was beautiful. I begin to get a contact with this group and to study a little bit business, to understand the operation of podcast, operation of business, operation of the media, and operation of a business in the West. And so we had a great relationship. The group of people worked together, and they came from all over the world, from Australia, from England, from California, from Hong Kong, from everywhere, from India, from Germany. So, and people work together, and I begin to just launch a program. It's called Zen Taigong Immune Series. This program I'm launching, and of course, a lot of things is for free. Just here is I'm doing the same thing over here, precisely. But I'm focusing on stage 4 cancer patients. Why? Because it's a small niche of people. Nobody can help them because the hospital system kicked them out. So that's why I take them in, just like what I did before. The Colonel, Ray, and Mr. Hart, and Janet, and Lisa, and so many of people, stage 4 cancer. And I want to see what I can help for the people who run out of methods by the disease care system. I've been doing this since 1970s. I want to help some people who really desperately need help, especially during this pandemic period of time, because the immune system totally crashed. They have this we call immunocompromised system. They're devastated. Their mind, their heart is in despair. So how can we get them out of that despair, transform the life into a new reality? What is the new reality? The reality of health, the reality of real living. It's not for everybody. Some people just want to die, They say they don't want to die, but they do everything towards the perish of the life. Nothing I can do about it. Because if you want to die, go ahead. That's your choice. But for those people who really have passion to live, for those people who really have the passion to persevere, for those people who really have the passion to connect themselves with the origin of the life. What is the origin of life? That is the cosmos life. That is the divine matrix. That is the divine intelligence. That is the supreme consciousness. Not only just to get the body over here preserved, but that heightened self, that heightened consciousness, we are connected with the universe. Even though your body perished, but your spirit is heightened. You'd better do now. So for those people who are a little bit connected, who kind of wake up, let's do it together. That's my message. My message is for those people who wake up. My message is for these people who want to wake up. My message is for these people who do not want to put this body, this mind, as garbage. I want to give the message to these people who want to really live instead of keep that zombie bed alive. That's what I say. Probably people see differently. Because number one thing is that I said, it's a self-responsibility. I said it many times over here. We call individual. What is individual? Individualization in this country. Everybody care about the individual. Yes, I care about the individual. What is individual? A lot of people don't understand what is individual. Indecisible. That is an individual. Indecisible, responsible whole. That is really by definition. So indecisible, integrated wholeness. And that is responsible for that self and for that whole humanity. Because then it's not separated. Everything is connected, indecisible. So from that sense, we all connected. From that sense, we are responsible for each life, for the whole life as a whole. So that means we, each one of us, is accountable. So we account ourselves. And each one of us is responsible for whatever we do, every minute, every second, here now. Not yesterday. I don't care yesterday. Let yesterday die. I don't care last week or week before. I don't care about the last year, whatever. Forget about it. How do I do here now? That is more precise. Tomorrow, I don't care. Tomorrow never comes. Have you seen any tomorrow? Tell me, have you ever seen tomorrow? No, nobody has ever seen tomorrow. It's here now. Live in the moment. Enjoy that moment. You can strive for the moment. All you can do, just doze off that moment. Everything is about you, me, each one of that I, responsible I. That's the beginning. And then when you become accountable and when you are responsible, when you see you must take an initiative, you must follow up, follow through, you must accountable for your own action every step of the way. And then you see things differently. You have complete control over your life. You have complete control over your destiny. You have a complete control of your emotions. Your past is over. You live in that moment in time and space, or without time, beyond time space. Yesterday, when I read some of things, and then I begin to write, because it's connected with me so much, and we think the same way. And so I begin to write my own thinking. 2 hours passed. I have no idea. I thought it was a few minutes. So when you are in that state, I call Zoom state. When I'm in that state of flow, people call inflow. That is, I call Zen moment. 3 hours, 5 hours, just like a second. It's totally different. The time is no longer fixed like a Newtonian time. The time is quantized. The time is conscious. It's connected with the universe, connected with the quantum field, connected with the supreme intelligence. There's no time. There's no location. There's no space. You are in a zone. That's what I was saying. So when you're accountable, when you take over the control, when you are in breathing, when you are in meditation, time is totally irrelevant. Your self-awareness is totally gone because you forget about that self. You forget about that body. You forget about any emotions. You forget about any feelings. You forget about anything of that self. You become what? The Tao said clearly thousands of years ago. You become nothingness. That means you and that I becomes nothingness. No name, no body, no mind, no thoughts, no emotions, no past, no future, no feelings. Nothing. When you are in that moment, everything is timeless. Everything looks like everything freezes. That's the universe. That's the divine. That's the matrix. That's the original consciousness. When you are in that state, your whole body and mind is totally intermingled together. That energy, that breath, that consciousness, that flow, that we call sine wave, that frequency is totally coherent, harmonious with nature, with the universe. Everything started from where? Everything started from that simple breath. Isn't it wonderful? Things is not that difficult. It's not that complex. It's not that down. It is not that gloomy. It's not that emotional. It's not that complicated. It's very simple. Can be very simple. But it is up to you. You can make it simple, you can make it more complex. Because the complex is about the past. The complex is because of about the emotions. Complex is the memories that are associated with that emotions. A complex is because of the thoughts, the thousands, millions of billions of thoughts come to your mind. They come along with that emotions, with that feelings. And everything go down or go up and down. That's the past. That's complexity you don't need. See, when you really want to get other emotions out of that, when you really get the stigma out of there, when you really want to get yourself out of that illness, when you really want to get yourself out of that terminal cancer or terminal illness, terminal compromised immune system, that is the only way. Yes, I have 6, not to 9. methodology, we call modules, to help people with cancer, help people with compromised immune system, help people with the stage before cancer spread out all of the body. It's totally not just possible, it's 100% sure. But it is you must get into that. You must be willing to. You must be dedicated. You must be committed to yourself, to your own life, not anybody's life. If you see from the individual, from the physical base. So I have 6 called intro and introductory modules. Number 1 is that breath, as I said before. The breath, the different kind of breath we can get into. Yeah, if you really want to interested anybody, you can go to the website I just launched. It's called DeRu Academy. If you say DeRuacademy.com, yeah, that's the new website I put. It's number 1 thing I do is for the 50 up. Immune system compromised, because I care, because this is my group of people, 50 up. And then stage 4 cancer patients. So I'm going to have a few webinars for the next few weeks, and people from all over the world will join in. I have probably about 10,000 emails I'm going to send out. And from England to Germany, from South Africa to Bangladesh, you name it. I have students over there. And I want to see, this is all free. It's all free. The webinar is all free. And just like this, this is the free things I do for the society. And then I hope you can get some benefit. And the second one I do is the meditation, deeper meditation, different kind of meditation to introduce. And I hope people really get into the deep state of mind, to heighten oneself, to see the high self, to see your innermost consciousness, to get in touch with the conscious matrix of the universe, or the divine intelligence. When you are in that route, you no longer focus only on that material things, because the material things is in and out, is totally irrelevant into real life. Because real intention, real potentiality, the real thing behind the material things, the spiritual, that energy, that consciousness, that chi, is the main force of everything manifested into physical. But you see the results, you don't see what is propels the result. That's what I see. What is behind everything that happens, including the pandemic. The pandemic is going to happen no matter what. It's going to happen again, no matter what. Why? People don't understand. They see the surface. They analyze the surface. It's silly. It's very silly. To me, it's very silly because it's happening. It's already planned for a long time. But people do not see the potential. People do not see what is happening behind, and they want to see that they call evidence. That's not evidence. People want to see this card. Why this card is like this? Why this card is like this? Why is this color? You don't see what is behind that. The mind. What is the design behind? What is the mind behind? What is the energy behind? What is the consciousness behind? What is the thinking behind? They don't see that. They want to see this card, analyze this card. What is the silly thing you do? That's precisely what we do. So meditation is what? Is to see behind your mind, behind the potential, behind your consciousness, behind your energy, behind your spirit, behind your soul. What is there? really without analyze, without opinions, without thoughts, without memories, without these dogmas, cultures, religions, but really religiously to get into it. I'm a person very religious, but I don't want to get into any religion or any dogma or any divisions. That's what it is. But that mind really can get deeper, deeper, deeper into the deeper state of your being. That's what meditation is about. Also, that meditation will open yourself up and begin to see that garbage. Begin to purify. Begin to clean up yourself. Every single day, every single minute. Because you need that devotion, you need that dedication, you need that commitment. Without that, nothing's valid. Nothing's valid. That's why when I trained people for the last few decades, people want to train with me. They got to have that mind, that dedication. My rules said clearly, if you're not committed, I have nothing to do with you. That's why I interview everybody who studied with me, even though I have probably 100,000 people who studied with me for the last 2, 3, 4 decades. Yeah, there's some people in and out. They study with me for a very short time, they're gone. But those people, they cannot sustain. I have nothing to do with. But they have some people who have followed me for 30 years, for 40 years. But they're sustained. Just like if you go to the website, that new website, I have many websites. I have like 7 of them. This is new website. And you have one of the ladies who has been with me since 1991. And Susan, she has an interview over there. And, she wept many times. She was dying. At that time, she had so many diseases according to medical community. She took 9 drugs, and I mentioned before. And we had an interview with her and for the PBS show. And she cried, She could have died because she has 6 friends. 6 friends that they're like sisters, grew together. They all had problems together. She was the only one still here. They all died last 10 years, 15 years. Some people died 15 years ago. Some people died 10 years ago. Some people died 5, 6 years ago. She's the only one survived. They all had problems. They all have problems, kids. They all have family problems. But some people live in problems. Some of them live in the past. Some people live in the emotions. Some people live in that the dark tunnel. But they don't want to see beyond the tunnel. So she wanted to go beyond the tunnel. In the interview, she wanted to cry. She eventually did cry. I think let it go. Let the cry go. It's okay. She's not only survived of her diseases. She started with me as a chronic back pain, neck pain. And they're supposed to do surgeries. Neurosurgeons say they got to do surgeries. Otherwise, there's no way that can be corrected. We didn't do anything. I did one time with my hands, that energy, I call energy healing, with my hands, and penetrated into her spinal cord and let her connect with herself. That was it. And then she followed me for the last almost 30 years. That's the fact. And it's not that difficult. It's not that complex. Because people focus on 6 symptoms, and with the drugs, what is the point? That's silly. You can ask her how much money she spent on me. Almost nothing. At that time, I was a student. At that time, I didn't even charge her. She served me for dinner. That's it. And she saved her life. She saved her life, not me. I just give her a window. I give her a door, and open the curtain, let her see a different world. That's all it is. So that's what meditation is about, to see a different world. Of course, to follow the meditation, I will give some module called Zen Taigong. Zen Taigong is also meditation, but it is motion meditation. Just like Harvard University said, Taiji is like a medication in motion. Harvard University did a lot of research on meditation, on Taiji, on a variety of things like yoga, like a Tian, like Zen meditation. They did a lot. And I did a research 30 years ago, and how that motion meditation with the qi circulation, with the circulation of that drainage system, and get rid of the garbage, purify yourself, cleanse yourself with all the toxicants, and let the qi flow. Life is an emotion, inflection of time and space. That's always I say. We are what? We are the microcosm of the universe. The universe is always in motion. The universe is always in expansion. And we think we should stop ourselves. You've got to be joking. You've got to recognize you are the motion. You always have the motion of the body and the motion of the mind. So let the motion flow. Inflow. That's what it is. Zen Taigong is about. So what I did from the last 40 years, my experience, my personal experiments, my personal experiment, my personal experience, and then my treatment with a different kind of health issues, my health care in various people. So I come up with the called Zen Taigong. What is Zen? Zen is the connection. Zen is the flow. Zen is the moment. Zen is the connection with the universe. Zen is the natural flow of our being and of the universal being and of that energy. Zen is that moment. Zen is that intuitive mind. Zen is that conscious penetration into our soul, into our high consciousness. That is Zen. Taigong. What is Taigong? Te is the universe, the cosmos, the micro and then the macro. That is Te. Gong is that work. It's the constant, accountable work. That's Taigong. So that's it. It's always in motion. So Zen Taigong is that emotion I'm devised from yoga, from Taiji, from meditation, from various Gong Fu. There are different levels of Zen Taigong. So I will introduce you the first beginning of Taigong. Motion, so that you can get your body a little bit more open, get your mind open, get your thinking become thoughtless, thinking to be nothing. Empty your mind so that it can download. Empty your mind, you can be intuitive. Empty your mind so you can connect. Empty your mind, you can be resonant with the divine, with the cosmic, with the conscious matrix of the universe. That's what it is. So, and then I have other things like Zen nutrition. We call it DeRu smoothies. What is DeRu? DeRu is my name. DeRu is the principle of the universe. What is Ru? Ru is the cosmic intelligence. It is the universal intelligence. It is the high consciousness. It is the universal, never-ending origin. From the beginning, there's no ending, there's no beginning. It's always in motion. That is the supreme intelligence. There's nothing to grasp. Nothing, remember, nothing. Nothing is the generation of everything. is the origin of everything. Nothing is the one, is the light that shines everything to the world, project everything to the world and to ourselves. That is the rule. Happens to be my name. So that DeRu smoothies, that DeRu recipes, that's what I devised for the last. A lot of things came from intuition, and a lot of things come from the moment I see. I can put hundreds of kinds of food on the table, no problem. But they're all healthy, remember. They're all healthy. So that is in food and nature is very important. Smoothies and cooked food. But cooked food is not like a really heavily cooked, very badly cooked. And then we have the last one is the most important one is the transformation of that character. Without a character transformation, life transformation, the life cannot be transformed without a character. The character of integrity, the character of constant moving, the character of accountability, the character of responsibility, the character of integrity, the character of that grit. That's most important because keep you going, keep you flow, keep you in flow. You have it. Thank you.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
The disease of addiction is a life-altering challenge, not just for the person suffering its effects, but also for the family and friends who support and love the one caught in its grasp. What should be the course of treatment? Who is the best person to render treatment? And what is the best place to go for the care that is needed? We know that